What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to Commissioner's Clubhouse here on the LCC Network for our 2022 offseason waiver wire mock draft. I almost forgot what I was calling this basically. But yeah, so we don't have a lot to really go over other than the offseason waiver wire, our mock at least. Just me on the show tonight. Actually, it's been a minute since I've done one actually. Happy 4th of July to everyone also, since we're going into 4th of July weekend right now. And yeah, so let's just get this thing started. Real quick, just look at the draft order here for the waiver wire. To explain this to people who don't know kind of what this is about, this is every team in the league gets an opportunity to get two players who are free agents in the LCC, who are ranked 250 or worse from last season in scoring. So if you think about that just from a logical standpoint here, most of these guys either got hurt, they started later in the year or early in the early part of the year and then got benched, vice versa. So there's these guys have a lot of risk involved in taking them, but it doesn't cost an actual draft pick. This is kind of like our offseason free agency, if you will, kind of like how the NFL does it, except we do it in a draft order. It's in reverse of our actual draft order. That way we don't lean too heavily on the teams who, struggle too much or maybe tanked intentionally the previous year. This is the one advantage that teams who played well last season get in the offseason, in my opinion. And I think that's fair because we want parity. I think parity is a good thing to some degree, but we don't want to tip the scales too much in one direction. But yeah, so that's kind of what this is about. And teams are able to trade around. No team can have more than two picks or less than two picks in the entire two rounds of the waiver wire. As you can see here, some teams have multiple picks in the first round. So Mr. 295 made some big moves to occupy the top two of the top three spots. So I'm very interested to see what he does this offseason. I am going to be working on sharing a spreadsheet with you guys. I contemplated, honestly, selfishly keeping this to myself. But I was like, well, why not? Especially for the newer guys, I think this could be very beneficial because I know we have some people here that are new to IDP, and I'll share it with everyone in the league. But I basically created a spreadsheet that has team needs. It basically indicates positions where teams have players and don't have players. A waiver wire ranking tab in there as well. And this isn't my waiver wire rankings. This is Fantasy Pros. I didn't really want any bias in it. This isn't how I would have ranked some of these guys, but I think Fantasy Pros does a great job, an excellent job in my opinion at offensive rankings, but they fall very short in IDP rankings in my opinion. Typically, they're not updated regularly. Also, you just don't have as many, quote unquote experts out there that cover IDP and that are serious. And so, you'll see on there the IDP rankings are kind of strange, in my opinion, or how I would have ranked some of them. But yeah, so I'll flip over to the second round while I keep talking here so you guys can take a look at that as well before we really dive into the mock draft. There's only like two teams who only have a second round or who have multiple second round waiver wire picks because they traded back. And that's the Third Leg and Shuttlecocks, and both occupy later spots. I'm interested to see if they try to trade up. I think when people see the pool here, this is loaded with offensive talent, in my opinion, especially at running back and receiver. At defensive line, though, it's pretty solid as well, honestly. Linebacker, it's kind of, and then DB, it's like literally non-existent. No joke. So, yeah. So let me just share my screen real quick. So what we're looking at here are the waiver wire rankings for from Fantasy Pros. Now, one thing I did do is I added like a little diamond emoji next to players that I think are severely underranked for where they should be in terms of their potential and everything. I think they really whiffed on some of these guys. I didn't bother with offense because I think it's pretty accurate, honestly. So, and those who aren't familiar with Fantasy Pros, they're a website that basically combines rankings from experts all over the world who do fantasy football rankings and do like an overall ranking based off that, which is really, really cool. But again, the IDP stuff is a little whack in my opinion. I think you can probably find a better website, honestly, if you're looking for IDP rankings. But what this does, this shows you players that are available in the waiver wire. They're 100% verified that these guys should be available. You can double check if you want. From everything I looked, basically if they scored 305 points in 2021 or less, they're eligible. So if you feel like, if you don't trust my research here, feel free not to. That's fine with me. But what I included is the position where the player plays, the team, the points average last year, and you're going to see obviously Deshaun Watson 0 because he didn't play. He probably won't play this year, right? Anyways, position ADP. Now, Fantasy Pros does not do that for IDP, which is interesting, but they do it for offensive players, so that's cool. And this is position ADP, not just ADP overall. We also have their Fantasy Pros rank, overall rank, best rank, which means some expert out there has Trey Lance as like the 7th best quarterback in fantasy this year. Some other guy has him at 19. And it just kind of gives you a range of both spectrums and where these players fall. And yeah, so let's get into this. Let's get into the mock draft. And I'm going to reference this. I'm just going to use this kind of as a tool because I would imagine some people will probably end up using this as well. So, and then the team needs, as you can see, is over here. This should be updated, I'm pretty sure. I did this a couple weeks ago. The other stuff, though, like the mock draft, the Fantasy Pros offensive rankings, all that stuff's out of date. So I'll add a note there, too, that you can ignore that for now until I do update that. I use this for myself, by the way. So feel free to use this however you want or duplicate it if you want to. So here we go. Mock Waiver Wire, Spurs, first pick overall. And you know what? I think we need some music playing in the background. Let's get some backyard football. I need to get jazzed up here. Okay, so the Spurs pick, I just don't see how they do not go Christian McCaffrey. So we're going to put CM... Oh, you know what? I think there's a better way of doing this. Hang on. Let me get the waiver wire rank, and I'm just going to copy their name. And that way we have a color code, too, for positions and all that stuff. Cool. Okay. Mr. 295. Let's see. What are our team needs here at Mr. 295? Still needs a quarterback. Still needs a receiver. Has 2 defensive linemen already, 2 DBs. So I doubt he goes either position there. I'm thinking he goes Trey Lance. Honestly, there's not a lot of QB talent in this draft pool. I mean, Tom Brady's the best available, and that's great, but there's no guarantee he falls to Mr. 295 in the draft. I think Trey Lance is a safe bet. I like him, assuming they trade Jimmy G, of course. So let's give him Trey Lance. I think that's pretty solid, honestly. So he picks again, back-to-back picks here. So, you know what? Let's go over here and let's go look at his player rankings. And anyone can do this, by the way, what I'm doing, or what you see on my screen right now. There he is, Mr. 295. We'll do all players. It's loading. That's fine. Here we go. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. There we go. So, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs is solid. But as you can see here, Josh Jacobs was never a week in and week out guy that you could fully trust, in my opinion. And I'm going to go on a limb here and say that he goes DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift becomes a Mr. 295. That's weird to say. That is a well-rounded offense, ladies and gentlemen. That is a solid offense. So give me more is up now, Jameson. I'm looking at his team needs. He's got a QB. He's got a running back. He doesn't have a receiver. He doesn't have a defensive lineman. There is not a lot of defensive line. I shouldn't say there's not a lot of defensive line depth in this, because if I scroll down, I'll show you. There's some good guys here, but there's way better talent in the actual draft pool. Oh, music ended. Let's play another one. Let's do NFL QB Club 2002. That's a, as the kids say these days, this is Bob. I don't know, man. I think Jameson might go Chase Young. I think that's a possibility. I think he'd very easily go Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller. But we still have Saquon Barkley here for Jameson. And when I show you Jameson's team, I think it'll kind of tell you it's not a bad idea. Hang on, I'm trying to find his team one here. There it is. Give me more. Okay, so yeah, Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, give me Saquon here. I think he could go Cam Akers, but we haven't seen Cam play as much. It's still a committee too. I just think Saquon's the best bet if we're gonna go running back here. So I'm gonna give Jameson Saquon. I think that's pretty solid. Okay, baby got Dak. I almost said baby got back. Let's see where we are here. Baby got Dak's got full offense, no defensive players. So what does that tell me? What does that tell me? I think Blake Martinez, ladies and gentlemen, is without a doubt the second best player in this entire waiver wire behind Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion. Love that man. He's a god. I think baby got Dak gets a steal here. I could see him go to Mr. 295. Maybe he goes Trey Lance and then Blake. If that happens, then James 100% goes DeAndre Swift without a doubt. That leaves me up. And what would I do there if that's the case? Let me think. I definitely don't go linebacker, especially if Blake's gone at that point. Got two running backs, and no one there is really worth taking. Ooh, I am in an interesting spot, honestly. I could do a number of things. God, I actually love this where I'm at. I can either go, in my opinion, Chase Young's the best guy, by the way, available. Although, Fantasy Pros has him as the fourth best in our waiver wire, at least. Dang, man, there's so much talent. You know what? I'm gonna pass on Chase Young. I love Chase, but I'm gonna get Kyle Pitts. I'm a big Kyle Pitts fan, or at least in fantasy. I'm not a Falcon guy, so I can't really say I'm a true Kyle Pitts fan, but love to have him. Okay. Once a janitor. Man, music already looped out. Okay, so let's do some Madden. Let me turn it down a little bit so I can hear myself think. Once a janitor is now up, he needs everything. He didn't keep any players. He missed the deadline. So I just took his Falcon. He's a Falcon fan, for those who don't know. None of these quarterbacks are really worth taking this early. And most of them aren't worth taking, period. Cam Akers is still there, I guess. J.K. Dobbins. Okay. I'm going to have to say he probably goes running back here because Cam Akers, I'm going to give him Cam Akers just because J.K. Dobbins, man, he's really the RB2 in Baltimore with the way their offense is ran, in my opinion. Because I think Lamar Jackson's basically the RB1. So we'll give him Cam Akers. It's not bad. Protect the booty. Let me just make this tab bigger so it's a little bit easier to... There we go. See. Okay. Protect the booty. What does he need? Offense is fully set. He needs his defensive lineman, and I think Chase Young is 100% the guy that he goes and gets here. So Chase Young it is. I'm going to go get him for him. Definitely a steal. Definitely a steal if he falls that far. I mean, like I said, I was contemplating getting him in my pick, but I don't know. I just like the youth of Kyle Pitts. Jordan is up next. Okay, so Afternoon Delights. Needs a receiver, needs defensive lineman, DB. I think there's so much DB depth in the draft that he can pass in there because Marcus May is like the best one available, and you know Marcus May is Marcus May. So I'm thinking it's hard to pass up on Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy, honestly, with Russell Wilson at the helm at quarterback. Who does he go after though? That's the thing. I mean, most people I think have Cortland Sutton as the guy, and as you can see here, is like the lead receiver in Denver. I think it could go either way. I'm gonna have to give him. I'm gonna give him Cortland Sutton, and I think that's a freaking steal. Why do I keep clicking that tab? I think that's a great steal for Jordan there. Springfield Adams. All right, another team that needs everything. Unless I'm, yeah, I'm right. Man, Jerry Jeudy's still there. Honestly, though, like, I just don't know. With him, I mean, he said he's played IDP before, but there's just the IDP depth here is just not great. I still think you got to go offense, and you not having any players. I think J.K. Dobbins or Darren Waller or Jerry Jeudy solid. Maybe J.K. Dobbins. I mean, there's not a lot of. I did it again. Oh man, I even made it worse by doing that. Okay, there we go. This Springfield Adams is just going to be a total wild card in terms of where he goes. All right, Steel Curtain. This is Cody. Cody. Let's see here. Steel Curtain. He's got his running back situation under control. Got a QB. Needs a receiver, a linebacker. I think he goes receiver here easily, and I think probably Jerry Jeudy, if that's the case, and definitely a great pick if that's where he goes. Thunderdome, new guy on the block here, rookie GM in the league. Needs a running back, needs a defensive lineman, he's a DB. All right, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins are gone. Miles Sanders, CH. I mean, these guys are just like, oh, dude, it's just, I don't know. I think he passes a running back. I really do. What was the other need he had? Where is he? Okay, he needs a defensive lineman. I think he probably goes DL here. Trey Hendrickson. Does he go Von Miller? Like, I mean, that it's wild. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. These edge rushers here, Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Bradley Chubb, they're all ranked as, I believe, linebackers, actually, in Fantasy Pros. So when you see their positional rank, that is not for defensive linemen. That's for linebackers. So you could easily bump that up a good bit when the fact that they're defensive linemen in our league. So, man. God. That's tough. You know, I'm going to go Von Miller. I'm going to go Von Miller. Yep. That's where we're going here. Okay. That's a wild card, guys. I don't know him that well in terms of what he might do, so I'm just going off positional need, and I think Von, even though he's older, is definitely a good fill-in player. All right, so we got Hunter of Champions. Let me make that tab bigger. There we go. Hunter. What do we need here? So, dude's got everything but defensive back. But let's look at the quality of those players because I think that's very important. See, Justin Herbert, Devondre Campbell. My God, he doesn't need anything offensively. Did I say he needed a defensive lineman? Hunter of Champions, where you at? No, he's got one. He must be on his taxi squad. Hang on. This probably is the better way of doing this. Okay. Where are we at, Hunter? Where are you at? There we go. So, just show taxi squad. Devondre Campbell, okay, he has Trayvon Walker. I mean, Trayvon should be good, but he may want some more depth. There's still plenty of depth in the actual draft pool for that. You know what? Maybe he goes on a limb here and just goes and gets the best flex player he can get. Honestly, if I'm Hunter, I would, with the way this is going right now in this mock and the way that his team's looking, I would actually try to trade this and get more draft capital if I was him. Cody Barton, Jamie Davis. No, I think these guys are. Marcus May. Does he really go get Marcus May? I mean, he averaged 30 points a game last year. He's in New Orleans, and he's I think he's their starting strong safety right now. I really think he might go defensive line, dude. But where does he go? Because Chris Jones is pretty high in most IDP rankings that I've seen. He's a defensive tackle, but believe you me, defensive tackles are worth more than ever this year because they get more points for tackles than defensive ends do. Dang it, this is tough. Khalil Mack, he's a Charger now. Different. I'm torn here. God, I'm gonna give Marcus May. Marcus May would be a good flex player. I don't know if he does. Oh, God, did it again? Marcus May, I think, is solid, especially if we're gonna just use him as a flex. So Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Gridiron. Sorry, Peyton. Let's see. Guardians of the Gridiron. He's a QB. I doubt they're taking one this early. Receiver, defensive line. Okay. Whoops. Darren Waller's still there. He averaged 20 points per game last year. I know Devontae Adams eats into his target share this year, but I still think he's a top 3 tight end. They have him as the number 5 guy, but I really think he's more top 3. So, I mean, you can go Michael Thomas. We're still waiting to see how things shake out with him this offseason, though. Allen Robinson's a Ram now, but there's so much talent there. Rashad Bateman, it's in Baltimore. It's not great. Darren Waller. I mean, all of these running backs are basically the same at this point for me. Like, you could wait, and you're going to get the same outcome either way. I think Darren Waller's solid, honestly. It's not great, but I think it's a solid pickup. How many times am I going to keep clicking on that tab? I think that's pretty good. Darren Waller's basically a receiver at the points he's been putting up here lately. Jiu-Jitsu Jesus, Matt is a freaking wild card, man, every year. You really don't know what. He's like a box of chocolates. Jiu-Jitsu Jesus. Still needs a running back, so I think he's got to go running back here. But does he go CH, Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds? I gotta think he likes CH more than Miles Sanders. He can't like either of them, I'm sure, but I'm not a big Miles Sanders fan. I just think he's kind of meh. So we get him CH. Burrow's body count is up next. He's a defensive lineman and a DB. Well, DB, I think he can probably wait to the next round. DL, there's definitely some guys here for sure. I mean, there's still plenty. We barely scratched the surface. J.J. Watt's just so old, man. I mean, when are we ever going to see him? Or will we ever see him play a full season again? I have no idea. I'm thinking maybe... I would have never, by the way, ranked Jonathan Greenard and Gregor Rousseau that low. Greenard was a freak for me last season. I really think you could put him in the top 3 or 4 on this list, and Rousseau in the top 10. Well, maybe not, probably top 5, but honestly. I'm thinking maybe, honestly, it's hard to pass up a guy like Chris Jones at this point, honestly. Le Batard Lobos. Here we go. Team needs a receiver, a defensive lineman, DB. So I'm thinking we got all these guys gone now. Michael Thomas is best available. It's like, ooh. Some people like Allen Robinson. I've just never been a fan. Maybe he goes Khalil Mack. Really shakes things up here. Got a lot of defensive linemen going in this from what I'm seeing here. 2 girls, 1 cup. QB, no, it's not going quarterback. Receiver, defensive lineman. So much defensive line depth still. And receiver, honestly. Maybe goes Michael Thomas. There's a lot of risk, honestly, in my opinion, with Michael Thomas. Like, let me just see the latest news. I'm interested to see. Set for comeback season. Seems like a lifetime ago, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, it's taking too long to load. Yeah, I think that's solid. I mean, it seems like he's going to come back, but it's just like, will we get him week 1? Will we get him week 5? You know, that type of deal. He may not. There's a good chance Michael Thomas does not fall this far, by the way. I'm just like, if it's me, I'm a little worried, but we'll see. Sandstorm Troopers. Needs a QB. He's not going QB. He's got 2 running backs. He probably doesn't do that either. Needs a receiver, defensive lineman. Okay. Honest to God, like, you'd be crazy not getting... If Jonathan Greenard fell that far, it'd be wild. Honestly, all these guys you could stream week to week here, receiver. DeAndre Hopkins is kind of like a stash and hold type deal. You know? Let's say he goes Hopkins. Just as a, little insurance policy at the end of the year. Eastside Brawlers. You know, my dad doesn't have a quarterback. I think he learned his lesson last year getting a quarterback in the waiver wire. His picks very close together. He could go running back here, honestly, just to have an insurance policy. But I know for a fact he does not get Miles Sanders after getting burned last year. I think he could probably wait. Let's go defensive lineman. Honest to God, I think that... Let's give him Eric Armstead. Although I think Jonathan Greenard is honestly a better play. I'm just going to go based on assuming he goes like off Fantasy Pros rankings, which he tends to go off rankings a good bit. So I think that's a safe one. Pros Fantasy Company, another wild card. Um, you know what? I think he probably goes Miles Sanders. Before it gets any worse, a running back here. Okay, who is this? Bag for Grit, Bag for G-Rag, receiver, defensive lineman, linebacker. Wide receiver. I think, let's say he goes Jonathan Greenard. Let's say Greenard falls that far. And then who is this? Oh, that's me. Shoot. Okay. So earlier I went and got a receiver. I still need a defensive lineman. And I could go DB, but I'm definitely not, in my opinion, at this point in time. I could double dip a receiver and just like get in a little insurance policy there. But honestly, I could draft any of these guys or anyone just as good, so I'm not. I'm gonna go build some depth at defensive line. Do I want an aged Khalil Mack or a consistently not playing Bradley Chubb? I don't think so. Gregor Rousseau, I really do like him, but I've already got someone so young. I feel like I need a sure bet, and I think Trey Hendrickson is possibly that. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, Barnyard. Let's see what we got here. He needs a defensive lineman and a DB. I'm going to say, does he go JJ Watt? I mean, JJ's just so old, dude, and everyone knows that. I mean, you'd have to really not know anything to go get JJ Watt, I feel like. But let's give him JJ. And that's not a shots fired type situation. I'm just, like, how far does he drop? Because Fantasy Pros does have him as a pretty high-ranked guy. I think he still needs a... Okay, still needs a linebacker. Well, you know what? Honestly, we could probably go linebacker here. But which one is the thing? I think Zach Cunningham is still really good. Jamin Davis is very interesting to me. He sucked last year, but I think he can only improve. And I really like him this year. Someone's going to get a steal if they take him. I'm going to go Jeremiah Awasu Karamoa. He's a starting interior linebacker for the Browns and very young. He averaged 22 points per game, but I think he's going to do a lot better than that, and I think that's not a bad depth piece. He's not a guy you want starting necessarily week one, but someone to look out for. Protect the Booty now is up. And he needs a defensive lineman. I think. Wait, did I get him one? I think I got him one. Yeah, I got him Chase Young. Interesting. Let's go look at his roster. He's got a running back, a young running back. Maybe he goes get another little insurance policy there. You also could use some to help that line. No, never mind. He's got Logan Wilson. That's not bad. An edge rusher. We already got that. I mean, honestly, he could go receiver here or running back. just as an insurance policy. Not a bad spot because there's still some guys here. Let's take a receiver. I think Allen Robinson's not bad. But he could also go get a guy like Kareem Hunt, who's a backup in Cleveland, or Tony Pollard, who I'm really interested in, honestly. I just don't know if you want him as your lead back, which he may lean on. Let's do Allen Robinson. Let's get some depth. Although, me personally, I like Devonta Smith. A lot. I actually think he should belong like right around in this area. All right, so Allen Robinson, Jameson. Okay, Jameson he's got 2 running backs. He needs a receiver still, a defensive lineman. Okay. I don't think Jameson goes receiver. Nope. Even though he needs one, I think he waits for the draft. Defensive line. Who's his linebacker? Okay, he's pretty good at linebacker. He could use some DB help. But there's just like no depth in this for DBs. Amani Hooker is solid. I like him more than Richie Grant, honestly. He's a strong safety in Tennessee. Maybe Jameson goes and gets Khalil Mack here. Wait, did I already? I don't think I put Khalil Mack anywhere. Oh, I did. Whoops, sorry. He's gone. I don't know. Bradley Chubb is like, dude, when are we going to see Bradley Chubb play again? I'm going to give him Hooker with the flex play here. Potential. Step Rose Fantasy Company, we already got him a running back. Does he double down on running back to solidify that group? I think he might. Go get a guy like Kareem Hunt, who's got a good chance of actually getting playing time, or Tony Pollard. I'm going to say maybe he goes Kareem Hunt. All right, Eastside Brawlers. He went and got a defensive lineman earlier. Honestly, won't be shocked if he doubles down and gets Rashad Penny here. That way he's got both Seattle running backs just in case. Sandstorm Troopers. He's already got a receiver now in Hopkins. Defensive line maybe. Maybe a guy like Kenny Clark. He's a defensive tackle in Green Bay. He averaged like nearly 19 points per game last year with the new scoring changes. I think that'd be a good piece to have. 2 girls, 1 cup. He needs a receiver. Wait, I think I got him a receiver earlier. Yeah. Defensive lineman or a QB. I'm going to go DeMarcus Lawrence here. A little bit older, but still has some gas left in the tank. Lobos. Maybe a receiver. I think we already shipped Allen Robinson off to someone. Yeah, we did. Okay. You know, let's go get I'm gonna say he shocks the world. Little shake up here. Goes gets Devonta Smith, who I love. Burr's body count. Let's see here. He went and got defensive lineman earlier, so that's checked off. I mean, I just don't think any of these DBs are really worth it. Let's look at his team. Okay, James Conner. I mean, he could use another depth piece at running back. I think he could do that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's go back up here to look running back. Kareem's gone. Tony Pollard, I think, is actually... That could be a sneaky pick there with Zeke's injury history and everything. Jiu-Jitsu Jesus. Wide receiver and a linebacker. I think Rashad Bateman's not bad. Guardians of the Gridiron got a tight end earlier. So I'm thinking defensive line maybe. Still some decent guys. Marcus Davenport is young. Started to come onto the scene last year. Gregor Rousseau, though, is still there. And that'd be wild if he falls that far. But we're going to do Davenport. I like that. I think it's a solid pick right here. Just like, he doesn't even have to be your starter. He's a guy you could throw in easily based off a matchup for sure. Hunter of Champions. We went and got a safety earlier. So, I mean, he is totally set, basically. Well, you know what? Let's go get your number 2 back. Let's do it, bud. Chase Edmonds in Miami. I think that could be really good. Honestly, I don't know if he falls this far. Thunderdome's got a defensive lineman earlier. He still needs a running back. Okay. It's literally Devin Singletary, and that sucks. I mean, why not? I mean, you got no one. There's not going to be that much in the draft pool at this point. So, might as well start with something. Steel Curtain. What did I give him earlier? Jerry Jeudy? Okay. Dang, that was a good pick. Linebacker, possibly. Because we got some depth here for sure. Zach Cunningham is the starting guy in Tennessee, but he's kind of older and a little washed up, in my opinion. Jamin Davis is so tempting. Oof. We'll go Zach Cunningham in Tennessee. Cody might have won the waiver wire based off this mock if he did this. All of this fell that way. So J.K. Dobbins went to Springfield earlier. He needs anything and everything. So Juju in Kansas City is very interesting to me. Robert Woods, Tennessee. I don't think it's that interesting. Dang. Let's see. Oh, for those that don't know, Springfield Adams, his name's Ian. He's actually related to me and Cameron. He's our cousin. His uncle is a big Bills fan, so I'm going to say Gregor Rousseau there. I'm going to go on a limb. That'd be crazy if he fell that far. That'd be a really good steal, honestly. Afternoon delights, Jordan. What do you think Jordan does? When he got a receiver earlier, defensive line, DB. I think he goes defensive line. And let's do Montez Sweat or Bradley Chubb. Or, you know what? Let's say he goes on a limb here and gets a guy like Jamin Davis. By the way, for those that don't know, Cody Barton here, who they have as like the 39th linebacker, very interesting because he's now one of the starting linebackers in Seattle who's basically filling in for the role that Jordan Brooks had last year, where Jordan Brooks is kind of filling Bobby Wagner's role. So look for Cody Barton. I think he could easily average, upper 20s per game. But I'm going to say Jordan goes Jamin Davis. It's a young buck, potential stud. Third leg here, he hasn't gotten anyone because he hasn't picked yet. Honestly, I'm going to say he goes linebacker here. Yeah, Richie Grant's not worth it. Sorry, I was contemplating, does he go DB? Yeah, let's go Cody Barton. I think that's a good pick. Wants a janitor. Needs everything still. He got Cam Akers, which actually was a great pick. So probably best available. You know what, let's get him Richie Grant. Let's get him a Falcon. Okay, let's see. Who is this? Third leg. So we got him a linebacker earlier. Let's get him Bradley Chubb. Old Chubby Chubb. Baby got Dak when he got a linebacker earlier. Montez Sweat, not bad. Not bad at all. Then who we got here? Shuttlecox, that's right. I think he's got back-to-back. Not a lot left. You could definitely go linebacker, I think. Cody Barton's gone, I think. We got him off, didn't we? Yeah. Jamie Davis is gone. Did I put Zach Cunningham anywhere? Yeah, I did. Trey Greenlaw and San Fran, Jayon Brown in Vegas. Ernest Jones is a guy. You know what? I'm going to do this for Charles. I caught a homer move. Oh, wait, no. This isn't. This is Shuttlecox. I'm going to give him Ernest Jones here because here's the deal with Ernest Jones. So he's starting linebacker in LA for the Rams, but obviously they have Bobby Wagner. Well, obviously that's going to turn a lot of people away from Ernest Jones. But here's the deal with with Bobby Wagner. This past year we saw Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks blow it up in Seattle, a linebacker, in terms of points, IDP points. So he has shown that he can share some room for other linebackers in terms of tackle shares. So I think Ernest Jones, him being young, he was a third-round pick last year for the Rams. They obviously love this guy. He's a starter already. I really like Ernest Jones. I think that'd be a great pick, just as a depth piece. Okay, So let's go back to defensive line. I think I've actually tapped out. Yeah, I've tapped out the defensive line rankings. God, would he really double down a linebacker though after that? I think maybe receiver. And maybe, Amon Ross Brown is pretty solid. He's young. He's averaging like nearly 19 points per game. Truly could be a steal here at the later part of the draft. Beg for G-Rag. I got him something earlier. What did I get him? At the end of the first, I think. Jonathan Greenard, who went and got defensive lineman. Maybe a receiver, honestly. Juju? Yeah, I could see that. Making sure I didn't put him anywhere. No, I did not. Okay, Juju. Perfect. And the Spurs, Cameron. Honestly, after getting CMC, he shouldn't need anyone else. Let's see. The Spurs. I think he goes just get a receiver here. Elijah Moore, honestly, he's a guy that might, if he fell this far, that would actually be a crime against humanity. I'm kind of surprised to let him do that. But yeah, that's our mock draft, guys. Feel free to look back at this, use it. You can do your own mock draft using this, honestly, if you want to. If you just duplicate the spreadsheet, which you can do if you have Google Sheets. But that's it. That's all we got for this episode. It was a long one. Hope everyone enjoyed it. We'll catch you guys after the mock draft is already underway next week. It should be a fun episode. Until then, we will see you guys later.